Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome once again to the Secrets of the High Demand Coach. And I am here with, you guessed it, another high demand coach. That is the one, the only Femi Doyle-Marshall. Now, he is a leading business growth consultant and time management coach and speaker and author and founder of REBOOTX Academy Entrepreneur Incubator. Now, with a relentless passion for personal and professional development, Femi has built his successful brands based on success principles, and he's now a trusted source for organizational growth and transformation. Now, Femi's journey began with a single goal: to make a meaningful impact. And through his Entrepreneur Incubator, he's cultivated a loyal following of members, partners, and Academy ambassadors who share his vision. Well, Femi, so excited to have you here. Welcome to the show. I'm wondering, what were you doing before getting into this, before launching REBOOTX, and how did that ultimately lead you to make the leap?
It's kind of interesting how life goes, my story before REBOOTX Academy, or else called RXCAD, was a coach. I actually was doing physical and health and fitness coaching for like 10 years before I stepped into the online space. And what I really found was you can make a difference through any interaction, right? So we were running a studio, training hundreds of people locally in Canada. And what I was really finding is, even though we were changing people's lives physically for health, there was another component of business, of mindset, of those types of things that I really didn't tap into until the pandemic hit. And that kind of became the catalyst to change to what you see here today. But coaching has been in my DNA from since I was 16. I was coaching teachers in my high school. That's kind of what I started with, from teaching those people for health and fitness, from elevating that to working in B2B organizations, doing programs and trainings with FedEx, training 2,000 people at a time, to now doing literally the same thing, but not just in a health and fitness light, but in how do you manage your time better? How do you actually build a business around your life in a more effective way? How do you generate more revenue? That's kind of a huge shift of what can happen in a short amount of time. So yeah.
I love that. What would you say then, fast forward to today, what's some of the most meaningful work you're doing for your clients?
Creating freedom. When I talk to a business owner who really feels like they're chained to their brand, and not in a good way, like chained to their brand, chained to their business, and they don't know how to get out, I feel what we are able to do at RXCAD and REBOOTX Academy is show systems that can allow you to scale in an effective way, that allows you to look at the tasks you're doing day to day and really understand, should you be doing this or should you be outsourcing it to the right person? What's the best way to scale this business? How can you generate more revenue? How can you enjoy life while you're enjoying your business? Those are some really key fundamental things I've seen happen inside of REBOOTX Academy. And like I said, when you think about why you start a business, most people don't start a business to be chained to it, right? Most people start a business so that they can create freedom. And sometimes you forget that when you're in the hustle,
Yeah, it's so true. So you've got a tool, or maybe even a framework would be a better word, but it's this idea of the Purposeful Workweek. So unpack that for it. What is it? Why does it matter for busy entrepreneurs?
Yes. The Purposeful Workweek is a framework, a model that I launched from 2020, right? Running my health and fitness coaching business for over 10 years, what I found was I was always in this hustle mindset. I was always hustle, go, go, go. And I didn't have an off switch. Now that can be a good and a bad thing, right? So not having an off switch means you're always on, you're always producing, but then it also means you can burn out. You can burn out really bad. I ended up burning out really bad, ended up in a situation where my blood pressure was 220 over something, ended up in a hospital, couldn't work for a month. And that was kind of the pivotal moment for me to be like, this is not how I'm supposed to be working. This is not how I'm supposed to be running a business. Things need to change. Shut down everything. And when everything shut down, my business grew. And I was like, maybe I have a model to work a little smarter. And that became the foundation of the Purposeful Workweek. So the key thing here with the Purposeful Workweek is the week doesn't stop on a holiday, right? The week doesn't stop on the weekend, right? If you're being purposeful with what you're doing, it's 24/7. Right? But what are you feeling in the schedule? Are you fitting activities that align to what you want to feel fulfilled in life? Or are you only doing stuff that connect to your business? So it changes the model of how you're working, and it changes the framework of how you should be working, so that you're not just thinking of making money, but it's like, how do I feel fulfilled and make money at the same time? Like, how do I build this brand and not burn out at the same time? It's more around that when I think about being purposeful and the Purposeful Workweek.
Yeah. So particularly for entrepreneurs, but for a lot of leaders, there's this feeling of like, I'm just running in 1,000 different directions, right? I have a vision, I have an idea where it's going, but I don't know that I could really say that I'm being purposeful in that. I don't know that I can be purposeful in that. There's so many things I need to do. How do you start whittling away at that?
So what's interesting is there's two things that I think can throw someone off when they're really locked into doing work, right? In a Purposeful Workweek, I talk about two key distractions: other people's time, right? And other people's problems, okay? Actually understanding what you're committing to and how that connects to someone else's problem, and realizing, is this something that I should really be focusing on that maybe doesn't get me to where I want to go in my life or with my business? Other people's times. These can be like time-sensitive projects. We're in a world where we're interacting with other people. Being aware of the things that you're putting in on your schedule and really asking yourself, is this something I need to commit to, right? Or is this something I believe or think I have to commit to? And then reframing how that goes on your schedule and your calendar. That's probably like one of the big things. But if we were to go into the actions and the activities and the things that we're deciding to do on a day-to-day basis, you have to really ask yourself, is what I'm working on really the most fulfilling things that I want to do, right? Are these the things and the actions that will produce the results I want to see, whether it's more revenue in the business, but then also the experiences I want to have on a day-to-day basis? Is it the lifestyle I want to live on a day-to-day basis? If you could start looking at your schedule in that way, you'll start whittling away at activities that don't fit, from those that are like just aimless activities you put on your schedule, to also things that are other people's problems that are just things you're choosing to commit to that you really don't need to, right? So it's kind of a balancing act between both, but just really reflection is huge, and committing to the stuff that's in alignment to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's so true. So there's this stage that I talk about that founders go through. It's called the reluctant manager stage, right? They've got a handful of employees around them, and the kind of defining question is, what's wrong with these people, right? And as you're talking about other people's problems and other people's time, it's just like I'm seeing it happens all the time. And what I found is, for some founders, it's a little easier when it's time outside of their business, but when it comes to managing people, they get so frustrated by the needs of their employees. How do you help them in this context of a purposeful work week to make sure that they have time to get their own work done, right? Their real work done, but also make sure that they have time to get the work done that their team needs that moves them toward their goals?
This is amazing, because this was actually connecting to one of the client calls I had just at the tail end of last year. This individual has a really large company, team of people, and they are all overworked. Okay. Leadership is overworked. Founders overworked. And what we were finding was, with regards to the managers and the founder of the company, was that there wasn't a clear boundary created for roles and responsibilities. Like, there was no separation as to, what do I really need to be doing in my position, right? How do I communicate with the leadership team? How do I communicate with my team in an effective way that it doesn't disrupt the flow and the production of what we need to do for our projects? That was non-existent. So the big thing that I recognized in connection to your question is, you're always going to be interacting with people. Like, you're always going to be interacting with people because you're building a brand, you're building a business that's going to have an impact. Yet, you need to create boundaries where you're giving opportunities for the people on your team to interact with you. But not only that, you're doing it in a way that it allows them to be empowered to get tasks and projects completed on time, right? Yeah. You don't need to hop in and try and out the fires all yourself, but you can set up a system in a way where there are touch points for your team members to ask questions for you as the leader. They can also connect with other people that you've nominated as leaders to take charge and run the ship, so that you don't have to do anything on your own. Okay. I think another factor that usually occurs as a founder and as your business is growing is you believe like you have all the answers, right? You're the only one that can solve that challenge. You want to put other people in positions of power where you train them and develop their skill, so you can hand them the opportunity so they can run that part of the ship and run that part of the business too. So if you build the structures in an effective way where there's different touch points to interact, they're not only just interacting with you, but they're interacting with someone else who is highly skilled to do the thing that you don't want to do anymore. And you can have an actual structure and system to know how to communicate in an effective way. That 100% has worked every single time.
Yeah, that's so good. So what do you do when, and everyone faces this, but you've got this idea, you've got the Purposeful Workweek, you've kind of nailed, this is what I want to be doing, and then it hits like everything all at once. And there's just way more than you could ever hope to ever get done in a day. And somehow you've got to do something. How do you, like, practically, how do you identify what to do next?
And next to your vision, right? The key targets you want to achieve might be something within a 3-year window, right? 3-year window, 5-year window, but you got to start breaking these things down. What are the things you need to do within the next 12 months? What are the things you need to do within the next quarter? What are the things you need to do within the next month, the next week, the next day? And as you get clearer as to those actions and activities, you may not need to do everything. You might not need to do everything by yourself. You might be able to outsource it or hire specialists to build this out with you. But it's actually realizing that this is a project, this is a task, this is a goal I want to accomplish, not right now, but maybe 12 months from now. It's having an understanding of the timeline it takes to complete these things and fitting it and making sure it's what you really want. So I'm going to take a step back here, right? I think we live in a world right now where people tend to overcommit things that really don't matter. Like they commit, they say they're going to do these things, but it's not really what they want. Like it's like they're committing to these things that people think is the thing you should commit to, instead of actually reflecting on, where's my gift? Where's my skill set? Where am I the best version of myself? Where am I supposed to shine? And honing in on that and then putting those things on your schedule. I think the better we get as human beings, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as professionals, the less stress, the less overwhelmed, the less burnout we actually face. So really ask yourself, are the things that I'm committing to the things that I really want, or is it the things that I think I want? Like, get really clear on that, and your schedule's not going to be packed till kingdom come. Like it'll be a little bit more manageable for you.
I think it was John Maxwell said that it's difficult to overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. And there's so many things that we give ourselves to, and I know that I do it as well. So give us, how do you go about working that out? Is the first step to actually get a vision for the future? Do you find most entrepreneurs are clear on that? What would be step one that folks could take action on today?
Step one would be determine your actual targets. Right? Determine the targets you want to achieve in your personal and your professional life. Like, get really vivid with it. Not just superficial stuff. Like, I'm talking about like deep. Like, I'm talking about, what are the experiences you want to have in your personal life? What's the lifestyle you want to live every single day? What's the impact you want to make in a personal level? And then also take this and move it towards your profession, right? You are a business owner, you're a business professional, but I think people have this thing backwards where they will focus on the profession and not their personal life. And then they wonder why they're not fulfilled, right? So I think if you really hone in on what you want within those categories, and then you go deeper into, okay, now how do I get those targets from what I'm doing professionally? You know, maybe I got to look at the amount of revenue I'm generating for sales. Maybe I got to look at how I'm marketing this brand of business. Maybe I got to look at the infrastructure I have in place for fulfilling the client's needs and things like that. The better you get at those things, now you have a set target, not someone telling you what to do, but it's connected to what you want and where you want to go. And then you just got to put in those right actions and activities that get you there. Like it's a beautiful thing. There was a client who we actually worked with last week, who was on one of our live events, and they were talking about the concept of marketing, right? So let's say your objective is, I want to be a better marketer for my brand and my business. I need to do marketing. Like, that's such an open and vague category. There's different aspects of marketing that you can actually commit to doing. Are you like thinking of in-person networking? Are you thinking of doing online, doing podcasting? Or like, what are you doing for networking? The more clear you get for that example of like marketing, it'll actually allow you to put those right actions and activities on your schedule. So don't be vague, be very specific, and you'll find that you'll no longer feel like it's too much. It's actually the right stuff you should be committing to.
That's awesome. I could not agree more. Now, I've got a question I like to ask all my guests, and it's this. what is the biggest secret that you wish wasn't a secret at all? What's that one thing you wish everybody watching or listening today knew?
You actually have more control than you realize in your life. You have the ability to eliminate stuff at any point in time. You have the ability to build something that creates extreme freedom. You have the ability to let things go that are not serving you. I think there's a lot of people who hold on to this weight that is unnecessary, and it can impact their ability to serve. The better you get at really understanding that you have more control than you realize, the more control and the more power you have and the more change you can make in your world, which will change everything else around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so good. So folks are listening to this and they're like, it sounds like a dream come true, right? It's exactly what I need, right time, right moment. How can they, what are some next steps they can take? How can they find out more about you?
Yeah, the big thing I would say is check us out online. If anything I'm saying really resonates with you, if you're like, you know what, I hear you, you get me. Check us out online, REBOOTX Academy, REBOOTX.com. Everything you'll find out there. You'll also find details about the Purposeful Workweek book. You can get that on Amazon as well, but you can go to REBOOTX.com directly, grab a book from there. You can also schedule a call to connect with me and my team. And then really, there's a lot of resources that's growing on our website that's going to be information that can help you manage your time, manage your business in a more effective way. And that is also there, free and accessible. You can browse at any time. Just take charge, take action. Don't stay still if you know you need a little bit of help. That'll be my suggestion.
That's fantastic. Well, Femi, it was just a privilege having you on the show. There's so much gold in there. And I appreciate you being on. For everyone watching and listening, you know that your time and attention mean the world to us. I hope you got as much out of this conversation as I know I did, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Take care.